Here is what most men never learn. A woman's body is always speaking, even when her lips are quiet. You look at smiles, outfits, photos, and miss the real signal. You chase texts and ignore posture, breath, tone. You try harder, she feels tighter and more guarded, and you tell yourself, attraction is random. It is not. Her body mirrors safety, stress, curiosity, and trust in real time, and if you can read it, you stop guessing. This is not about judging or scoring. It is about awareness. The hips that say freedom or nesting, the chest that hints at how she carries feelings, the voice that reveals comfort or caution, the lips that show whether pace is right or rushed, the scent of fit that logic cannot fake. Even her tension is often a live response, not a history lesson. Stoicism gives you the frame. Control your mind then, observe clearly. When you are calm, you notice more. When you notice more, you lead better. In this video, I will break down 7 quiet signals of the female body, how to respect them, and how to create an atmosphere where desire grows without pressure. Nothing graphic, nothing creepy. Just clean psychology, real examples, and practical cues any man can use today. Take notes and listen for the patterns your eyes often miss. Stay with me. Let's get into it. Number 1. The language of her body. Every woman speaks 2 languages, the one that comes from her mouth and the one that comes from her body. The problem is most men only listen to the first. They chase words, explanations, and signals that are easy to misread. But the real truth, the kind that decides whether she relaxes or shuts down, is written in the quiet rhythm of her body. You don't have to be a mind reader to see it. You just have to slow down long enough to notice. Let me give you an example. Mark, 48, divorced 5 years ago, started seeing Laura, 42. They'd been out 3 times. She smiled, joked, and kept conversation light, but something always felt off, like she was there, but not really with him. He thought she wasn't interested. Then one night, instead of filling every silence, he just listened. He noticed her breath was shallow, her shoulders tight. When he stopped talking and simply mirrored her pace, slower voice, deeper breath, her posture softened. She leaned in. For the first time, they connected. He didn't change his words. He changed his awareness. That's the language of her body, unspoken, honest, immediate. Her tone, her breath, her eye contact, her small movements. They reveal more about her comfort, curiosity, and trust than anything she could ever tell you directly. When she feels at ease, her body opens, her movements get looser, her breathing slows, her eyes linger longer. When she feels pressured, her body retreats before her words do, crossed arms, shorter answers, smaller smiles. Women are biologically tuned to read energy faster than men. They evolved to detect safety, to feel when a man is calm or when he's forcing something. And that's why your body language matters more than your pickup lines. When you enter a space with tension or need, she feels it instantly. But when you move with grounded calm, she mirrors that peace. That's how attraction begins, not through words but through emotional safety. The Stoics understood this long before psychology gave it a name. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Your thoughts color your body language. If your mind is desperate, your body leaks it. If your mind is still, your body broadcasts strength. You can't fake calm. You become calm by mastering your emotions before you step into any interaction. That's Stoic flirting, leading through stillness. This doesn't mean analyzing every twitch or gesture. It means becoming present. Notice her breathing, her tone, her rhythm, and match it gently. You're not mimicking, you're harmonizing. When you do this, she feels seen, not studied. That's the difference between manipulation and awareness. The truth is, her body is always giving feedback. If she adjusts her seat toward you, relaxes her shoulders, or plays with her hair, she's signaling openness. If she shifts away or closes herself off, that's your cue to slow down, not to chase harder. Respecting those signals shows emotional intelligence, and that's what separates older men from boys. Mark told me later, once I learned to read her silence, I stopped overthinking every word. She started trusting me more. That's the reward connection, without effort. You don't force attraction, you create the space for it to grow. Now think about your last few interactions. Were you listening with your ears or with your eyes? If you understand what I mean, drop this in the comments. I see more than words. Because next we're going deeper into how a woman's hips tell the story of freedom, control, and the kind of energy that makes her feel both safe and alive. Stay tuned. Number 2. The secret of her hips. A woman's hips tell a story older than words. They're not just about shape or attraction, they're about rhythm, balance, and instinct. The way she moves, walks, or even stands carries messages about how she connects with the world. And if you pay attention, you'll see that her hips often reveal two things: how she feels about herself and how safe she feels with you. From an evolutionary standpoint, the hips have always been at the center of feminine energy. But what most men miss is that they're also a barometer of trust and freedom. When a woman feels relaxed, her movement becomes fluid, her stride is natural, her posture open, her energy flowing outward. When she's guarded, everything tightens: her steps, shorten her body, closes, her energy retracts inward. Her body is literally telling you, I don't feel fully safe yet. It's not something she consciously controls. Her hips are tied to her parasympathetic nervous system, the part of the body that governs relaxation, sensuality, and openness. That means the way she moves is a reflection of her inner state, not her intent to seduce. You can't make her open up through compliments or charm. You can only create an environment where her body decides it can relax. This is why the Stoics talked so much about self-control. They knew that your inner calm changes the outer world. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." When you are calm, grounded, and emotionally present, a woman's body senses that stability. Her hips don't move because you command them. They move because she feels safe enough to return to her natural rhythm. So what does this mean in practice? Watch how she carries herself when she's around you. Does her movement become softer, more natural? Does she shift her weight toward you when you speak? Those small cues mean her nervous system is relaxing in your presence. If she stays rigid or distant, don't take it personally. That's not rejection, it's information. It's telling you to slow down, lower your energy, and let her recalibrate. Think about the energy you bring into a space. If you walk in anxious, desperate, or overly eager, her body feels that vibration instantly. Her hips will stiffen, her body will guard itself. But when you move with quiet confidence, when your steps are slow, your breathing deep and your tone steady, you communicate safety without a single word. And this goes deeper than attraction. It's about emotional leadership. The Stoic man doesn't take energy from a woman, he regulates his own. He becomes an anchor, and her body responds in kind. The more grounded you are, the more grounded she becomes. When you understand this, every movement becomes communication. The way she shifts, the way she dances, even the way she sits, all of it gives insight into what she needs from you. In that moment, stability or space, closeness or calm. Most men only see motion. The wise man sees emotion within the motion. So when you notice, her hips don't stare, observe, don't judge, understand. Her movement is the echo of her comfort. Her rhythm reflects your energy. The next time you're with a woman, remember, your stillness invites her softness. And if you truly understand that kind of connection, anchor it now. Comment, I lead with calm. Stay with me, because next we're decoding the story her chest tells and how the emotional weight she carries reveals far more than what meets the eye. Number 3. The story her chest tells. A woman's chest carries more than attraction, it carries emotion. It's where she stores care, stress, affection, and protection all at once. The chest is both armor and invitation, and how she carries it tells you what's happening beneath the surface. This isn't about objectifying, it's about understanding the emotional blueprint that shows up in posture, breath, and body language. Let me tell you a story. David, 52, a high school counselor, met Amanda, 44, through a local hiking group. When they first met, he noticed something, not just her appearance, but how she held herself. Shoulders slightly forward, arms crossed loosely, chin tilted down. She wasn't shy, she was guarded. During the hike, every time the group stopped, David stayed near but didn't crowd her. He spoke with calm warmth, asked questions and listened. By the end of the day, her posture had changed. She stood taller, arms, uncrossed, chest open, breathing deeper. That wasn't confidence from his compliments. It was her nervous system responding to emotional safety. See, a woman's chest reveals the balance between her mind and her emotions. When she's tense or uncertain, her breathing becomes shallow, shoulders round forward, protecting the heart area. When she feels safe, her breath expands through her chest, her voice softens, and she becomes more expressive. These shifts aren't conscious. They're the body's way of regulating trust. The Stoics understood this connection between emotion and posture long before psychology labeled it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When you regulate your own emotional state, her body senses it. Your steadiness allows her body to release the tension it's been holding. In Amanda's case, David didn't need to do anything special. He didn't flatter her or push for connection. He simply stayed consistent, steady eye contact, relaxed tone, slow breathing. His calm became her cue to relax. Her chest opened because her mind did. That's the difference between a man who seeks to attract and a man who creates attraction through safety. You can see this shift in everyday life. Notice how a woman's posture changes depending on the environment. At work, she might hold herself upright but tense, protecting herself in a competitive space. Around trusted friends, she leans back, laughs louder, breathes easier. Around a grounded man, she does both. She stays composed, but starts to soften. Her body mirrors his emotional stability. This is where most men get it wrong. They think attraction is about saying the right thing or creating excitement. But the truth is, her body is waiting to feel calm before it can feel chemistry. When her chest softens, that's her subconscious saying, "I can trust this space." It's not about dominance, it's about presence. David told me later, "I didn't realize she was responding to how I felt. Once I stopped trying to prove myself, she naturally opened up." That's the quiet secret. Women don't open up to words, they open up to peace. So next time you're with a woman, pay attention to her breathing and posture. If she's tight, slow your pace. If she's open, stay grounded so she can stay there. Your calm is the signal she's been waiting for. And if you understand that dynamic, let the world know. Comment, "I create calm." Because next we'll listen to a language that goes even deeper, the voice. It's not just sound, it's emotion, energy, and sometimes the invitation you didn't realize she was giving. Stay tuned. Number 4. When her voice betrays her. Her voice tells you everything her words don't. You can learn more about a woman's emotional state in 30 seconds of tone than in 30 minutes of conversation. The voice is the bridge between her body and her emotions. It carries tension, confidence, and desire all at once. When you listen closely, you can hear whether she feels guarded, open, curious, or playful. Most men miss this completely because they focus on what she says instead of how she says it. A woman's voice shifts with her comfort level. When she feels anxious or unsure, her pitch rises slightly, her pace quickens, and her words come out tight. Her nervous system is on alert. When she feels safe, her voice drops, slows, and flows naturally. The rhythm becomes smoother, softer, more grounded. That change doesn't come from you saying something clever. It comes from your energy, allowing her body to relax. Her voice mirrors the emotional atmosphere you create. There's a moment in every interaction when her tone gives you a hint of trust. It might be a laugh that sounds genuine instead of polite, or when she says your name with that subtle warmth. These shifts seem small, but they're the real green lights. Her voice is the echo of her subconscious saying, "I feel safe enough to be myself." Stoic philosophy captures this perfectly. Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Most men talk to impress. The wise man listens to understand. When you truly listen not just to her words but to her rhythm, you begin to sense the truth behind them. Her tone becomes a map to her emotional world. Now here's where self-mastery matters. The Stoic man doesn't react to tone shifts with insecurity or neediness. If her voice sounds distant or sharp, he doesn't take it personally. He adjusts his energy. He slows down his speech, lowers his tone, and lets silence do the heavy lifting. That grounded presence pulls her voice back into balance. Because here's the thing, when your calm meets her chaos, calm wins every time. Listening to her voice is also a test of your awareness. You're not decoding her to manipulate, you're attuning to her emotional state. That's what separates respect from strategy. When you respond to her tone instead of just her words, she feels understood without having to explain herself. And that's where real connection begins. You've probably noticed how some women sound different around different men. Around one, she sounds polite but reserved. Around another, her voice softens, her laughter deepens. That's not manipulation, it's resonance. Her body adjusts to the energy she feels safe in. So the next time you're talking to a woman, listen with your whole attention. Don't rush to reply. Feel her tone. Mirror her pace slightly. That subtle alignment builds more connection than 100 compliments ever could. The Stoic man doesn't chase validation through words, he creates alignment through awareness. When you master that, your conversations stop feeling like games and start feeling like connection. And if you want to go deeper, if you want to learn how to read tone control presence and speak from calm power, join the members area. Inside, I share exclusive breakdowns, examples, and training to help you communicate like a Stoic lead with emotional intelligence and build relationships that feel natural, not forced. If you're ready to lead with awareness, write this now in the comments. I listen with calm. Stay tuned, because next we're unlocking the psychology of her lips and how understanding rhythm and restraint makes you unforgettable. Number 5. The psychology of her lips. Lips aren't just symbols of attraction, they're instruments of emotion. Every subtle movement, every pause before a word, every smile that almost forms and fades. These tiny details reveal more about her comfort, her confidence, and her chemistry with you than you realize. The lips are where feeling meets expression. They're how the body speaks when the heart wants to stay quiet. Let me paint you a picture. Ethan, 56, a graphic designer from Denver, met Melissa, 43, at a coffee tasting event. During their first chat, he noticed something curious, not her lipstick or smile, but her pauses. When she was nervous, she bit her lower lip slightly, almost holding back her words. But when she laughed, really laughed, her mouth relaxed, corners soft, breathing open. He didn't interrupt or tease. He just stayed present, let her talk, and matched her pace. Over time, he realized something. Her lips weren't flirting. They were communicating trust. The more comfortable she felt, the more expressive she became. That's the psychology of her lips. When she feels safe and engaged, her face softens, her lips part naturally, her tone slows down. When she feels guarded, they tighten or press together. Her body's protecting emotion, keeping it inside. It's not about seduction, it's about emotional openness. Men often mistake a woman's lips as signals of desire when they're actually reflections of comfort. A relaxed smile, slow speech, or gentle laughter aren't invitations. They're signs that she feels grounded in your presence. Desire only builds after safety does. You can't rush that. The moment you chase it, the body shuts down. That's where Stoicism enters. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike your enemy." In dating terms, the best move is to be unlike most men. While others rush you, pause. While they try to impress you, observe. You understand that timing and stillness create more tension than words ever could. In Ethan's case, his restraint did more than any clever line could. He never filled silence just to seem interesting. He didn't stare or overanalyze. He just noticed how Melissa's lips relaxed when she talked about her kids, how she smiled wider when she felt heard, how her breathing slowed when he matched her rhythm. Each detail became part of a conversation deeper than speech. Here's what most men miss. Lips are tied to the vagus nerve, which regulates calmness and trust. When a woman feels emotionally safe, her facial muscles soften, her expressions become fuller, more genuine. When she's tense, those muscles tighten subconsciously. So, if you want to see openness in her, create stillness in yourself. This is why your energy matters more than your words. Your calm tone, your unhurried responses, your subtle awareness, all of it gives her body permission to relax. That's when real chemistry begins, not because you made her feel desire, but because you made her feel safe enough to express it. Ethan told me later, "I realized I didn't need to say much. Just being present made her open up." That's exactly it. Real attraction happens in stillness, not noise. So next time you're with a woman, stop trying to read her mind. Watch her mouth when she talks. Notice when it tightens, when it loosens, when her laughter changes. Those are the clues her body gives to a man who knows how to see. If you understand that, write it down below. Comment, "I read energy, not signals." Because next we'll move into one of the most primal layers of connection, the scent of attraction, and how chemistry reveals what logic can't explain. Stay with me. Number 6. The scent of connection. Attraction starts long before words, eye contact, or touch. It starts with scent. Not the kind sold in a bottle, but the natural, unfiltered chemistry of two people whose biology aligns without explanation. Most men underestimate how powerful this is. They think attraction is visual. But for women, scent is emotional, it's instinctive. It's how her body decides before her mind does, whether you're a match or a mistake. Science calls it pheromonal compatibility. You've probably felt it before, the way someone's scent feels inexplicably right, like warmth that fits your nervous system. That's not coincidence. That's biology meeting alignment. But here's the part most men never realize. A woman's response to your scent isn't just about genetics. It's also about how calm and grounded you are. When you live in stress, your body chemistry changes literally. Cortisol, adrenaline, tension, they all alter how your skin and scent communicate. In other words, your state of mind affects how you smell to her. A man who lives in peace smells different than a man who lives in chaos. You can't fake that with cologne. Stoic philosophy understood this in a different way. Seneca once said, "A man's character is his fragrance." It's poetic, but it's also real. The energy you carry, the way you breathe, your emotional balance, all of it becomes your scent before you ever get close enough to speak. Women have evolved to sense this. Her subconscious reads your chemistry through the smallest cues, your breath, your skin, even the way your body temperature shifts when you're calm versus when you're anxious. If she feels drawn in, that's her nervous system saying, "I trust this man's energy." If she subtly pulls away, it's not rejection, it's instinct. You can't argue with it, and you shouldn't try. Here's where awareness becomes power. Instead of forcing connection, you learn to cultivate it from within. A Stoic doesn't manipulate attraction, he aligns himself with nature. He purifies his inner world so that his outer world follows. In simple terms, control your inner chemistry and your body will do the rest. When you eat clean, breathe deeply, and live with emotional steadiness, you project health. And health, calm, vibrant, real health is magnetic to the feminine body. There's a deeper layer here too. Scent is the most ancient memory trigger we have. A woman's brain stores the smell of a man she connects with differently. That scent can trigger warmth, safety, and even longing long after he's gone. It's not just romantic, it's neurological imprinting. That's why the man who moves through life with calm confidence leaves a trace that lingers longer than the one who tries too hard to impress. Stoicism teaches that you can't control external reactions, only your internal state. Apply that here. You can't make her like your scent, but you can live in a way that naturally draws her closer. When your mind is steady, your body communicates it effortlessly. She feels it through presence first, and through scent second. The truth is, attraction isn't built through perfume or posture. It's built through peace, because peace changes your chemistry, and your chemistry changes everything else. If that makes sense to you, if you've ever felt that kind of silent connection, write it down now. Comment. My calm leaves a trace. Let's keep going, because next we're uncovering one of the most misunderstood signs of attraction, what her tightness really means. This one will challenge what you think you know about intimacy, connection, and trust. Stay tuned. Number 7. What her tightness really means. Here's where most men get it wrong. They think a woman's body reacts to them like a scorecard. Tight means she's into it, loose means she's not. That misunderstanding ruins connection faster than anything else. What most men never learn is this: her body's tension isn't a measure of desire. It's a reflection of trust. Let's take an example. Richard, 54, recently divorced, started seeing Emma, 46. They had great chemistry, conversation flowed easily, attraction was real. But when things turned physical, he noticed she would freeze up at times. Not reject him, just tighten. He took it personally. He thought maybe she wasn't as interested as she said. Later, after a deeper talk, he learned she'd been in a relationship where she never felt emotionally safe. Her body still remembered that. The tension wasn't about him, it was her nervous system protecting her. This is what every man needs to understand. Tightness is feedback, not failure. It's her body's way of saying, I need more safety before I can open. And that safety doesn't come from pressure, it comes from presence. When you stay calm, patient, and connected, you tell her body there's no danger. Over time, her system adjusts and the tension dissolves naturally. Biologically, this is about the autonomic nervous system, the body's internal switch between stress and relaxation. When she's anxious, uncertain, or feels objectified, her body activates defense mode. The muscles contract. But when she feels secure and emotionally seen, her parasympathetic system takes over. Her body relaxes. That shift isn't something she can control with willpower. It's something her body gives when it feels peace. The Stoics had a profound take on this. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." You can't control how her body reacts, but you can control how you respond. The weak man reacts with frustration or ego. The Stoic man stays centered. He understands that patience and steadiness create the conditions for connection. Richard learned that the key wasn't to push, it was to slow down. He focused on breathing deeply, maintaining soft eye contact, and letting silence fill the gaps. He stopped trying to perform and started simply being present. Over time, Emma's body began to mirror his stillness. The tightness faded because trust took its place. That's the real meaning of her physical response. It's not a test you pass, it's a language you learn. Every part of her body is communicating, but her nervous system speaks the loudest. It asks one question: am I safe here? If your energy answers yes, her body will open. If it feels even a hint of demand or pressure, it will protect her. And that's not rejection, that's wisdom. Here's what separates mature men from the rest. They don't chase instant results. They build emotional rhythm. They understand that true connection happens when the mind relaxes first, then the body follows. Richard told me later, once I stopped taking her reaction personally, everything changed. I realized my calm was the invitation she needed. That's what makes an older man powerful, not dominance, but steadiness. So remember this, tightness isn't resistance, it's protection, and protection fades when peace is consistent. If you understand that kind of strength, claim it now. Comment, I build trust, not tension. Because next we're diving deeper into the foundation of connection, how trust unlocks desire, and why patience, not passion, is what makes her body truly open to you. Stay tuned. Number 8. How trust unlocks desire. Desire isn't built through pressure, it's born from peace. A woman doesn't open up because she's overwhelmed by attraction. She opens because she feels safe enough to let go. Every genuine connection, emotional or physical, starts with trust. Without it, even chemistry burns out fast. But when trust exists, her desire becomes something deeper, something steady, not just spontaneous. Here's the truth. A woman's body and mind are linked far more closely than most men realize. You can't separate emotional safety from physical desire. Her nervous system literally needs to feel calm before it can feel pleasure. That's why, when she's anxious, distracted, or guarded, no amount of flirting or charm will work. Desire can't grow where fear lives. So how do you build trust that unlocks desire? It's not through grand gestures or constant validation, it's through consistency. It's how you show up when things don't go your way. It's how you respond when she's distant or unsure. Most men react with impatience, trying to fix the moment. But the Stoic man doesn't fix, he holds space. He knows that her body and emotions will follow the tone he sets. Epictetus wrote, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them." The same applies to trust. If you see her hesitation as rejection, you'll get defensive. But if you see it as communication, you'll stay calm. Her body reads that calm as safety. Safety becomes comfort. Comfort becomes attraction. That's the quiet path from trust to desire. You see, when a woman senses that your energy is stable, she begins to relax subconsciously. Her breathing slows, her laughter becomes real, her eyes linger longer. That's when connection deepens. Not because you pushed, but because you stopped pushing. Desire doesn't happen when she's convinced, it happens when she's allowed to feel. Trust is also built through respect for timing. The Stoic understands that everything unfolds according to nature, not impatience. Seneca once said, "No man was ever wise by chance." In the same way, no woman ever desired deeply by accident. It happens through rhythm, through patience, through presence. When you allow things to evolve at their own pace, she feels something rare, freedom. And freedom is the birthplace of desire. You can hear it in her tone when she feels it. The tension in her voice softens, the rhythm of her body slows. She stops guarding her words and starts sharing her feelings. This shift doesn't require seduction, it requires sincerity. You stop trying to get something and start focusing on giving presence. That presence tells her one thing: you're safe here. That's what most men miss. They think trust is built by proving worthiness. It's not. It's built by being unshakable in your awareness. When you stay calm while she tests your patience, when you respond to emotion with steadiness instead of ego, you give her what no surface-level attraction can: emotional security. And emotional security is the foundation of every lasting desire. The Stoic man knows this trust isn't built in moments of comfort. It's built in moments of uncertainty. It's when things don't go perfectly that she learns whether she can truly relax with you. So remember, her trust doesn't unlock through control, but through consistency. When she feels peace in your presence, her body responds in kind. If you understand that truth, ground it now. Comment, "My calm builds desire." Let's keep going, because next we'll explore how to read without judgment, how awareness, not analysis, keeps attraction alive while preserving her respect for you. Stay tuned. Number 9. Reading without judging. If there's one skill that separates men who connect from men who confuse, it's this: the ability to read without judging. A woman's body tone and energy are constantly communicating with you, but most men react instead of interpret. They see distance and call it disinterest. They see emotion and label it drama. What they miss is the message hidden underneath. When you learn to read her without judging, you don't just understand her better, you help her feel understood, which is exactly what makes her relax and open. Let's take a real-world example. Mike, 49, a small business owner from Chicago, met Sarah, 45, through mutual friends. Their first few weeks were great, but then Sarah started pulling back. Shorter texts, more time between calls. Mike's instinct was to confront her, to ask what he'd done wrong. But this time he tried something different. Instead of reacting, he observed. When they finally met for dinner, he noticed her tone was soft but distracted, her smile tight, her posture slightly turned away. Instead of demanding answers, he just said calmly, "You seem a little heavy tonight. Everything okay?" She exhaled deeply and admitted she'd been overwhelmed at work and scared of losing control emotionally. The next hour turned into the most honest conversation they'd ever had. That's the difference awareness makes. When you read without judging, you invite honesty instead of defensiveness. You show her that she can be imperfect and still accepted. And for women, that safety is more powerful than any charm or attraction. Judgment, on the other hand, kills openness. The moment she senses you're analyzing, criticizing, or mentally grading her, she withdraws. Her body tightens, her tone changes, and her guard comes back up. It's not that she's hiding, it's that she's protecting. That's why your emotional neutrality matters so much. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. Marcus Aurelius said, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." When you apply that mindset in relationships, you stop reacting to surface behavior and start seeing the human underneath. You begin to recognize patterns without blame, emotion without judgment, and behavior without ego. That's emotional intelligence in action. Mike told me later, "Once I stopped making her reactions about me, everything got easier. I could actually listen." That shift from needing validation to offering understanding is what changes the entire dynamic. Women feel safe around men who can hold emotional space without trying to control it. Think about it. When she's moody, distant, or uncertain, most men either argue, withdraw, or try to fix it. But the Stoic man observes. He breathes. He stays grounded, because he knows her reactions are often just reflections of her inner world, not rejections of him. His calm becomes her reset button. Reading without judging also means reading yourself. Your tension, your impatience, your frustration, all of that communicates too. If you stay aware of your own state, you'll be better equipped to read hers accurately. Self-awareness sharpens perception. Without it, you project your fears onto her and call it truth. The real mastery is in balance. See clearly, but stay compassionate. She's not a puzzle to solve. She's a person revealing pieces of herself at the pace safety allows. The more calmly you observe, the more freely she shows you who she really is. That's how trust deepens, how attraction matures, and how connection lasts. So next time, instead of reacting to what you see, listen to what it means. If you're the kind of man who can stay calm in the storm, drop this below. I read, I don't react. And stay with me, because next we're closing this series with how presence becomes power, and why mastering calm attention turns you into the kind of man she never forgets. Number 10. The Stoic man who understands women. There's a quiet kind of power that most men never discover. It's not the loud confidence of youth or the clever charm of words. It's the grounded presence of a man who understands women, not because he's studied them, but because he's mastered himself. The Stoic man doesn't try to decode every emotion or body signal like a puzzle to solve. He listens, he observes, he lets reality speak instead of rushing to fill silence with assumptions. His calm becomes his charisma. His restraint becomes his magnetism. The more he understands his own emotions, the more clearly he can see hers without judgment, without fear, without the need to control. That's what makes him different from the typical man. Most men either chase or withdraw. They see women as mysteries to conquer or as problems to avoid. But the Stoic man knows better. He doesn't need to chase because he already has purpose. He doesn't withdraw because he's not afraid of emotion. He lives in balance, firm but kind, confident but humble. And that balance is what draws women in. Stoicism teaches that peace isn't the absence of emotion, it's the mastery of it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." The man who embodies this doesn't try to change how women behave. He changes how he responds. He recognizes that attraction isn't something he earns through effort. It's something that happens naturally when his energy is steady. Think about this. Women are emotional barometers. They can feel a man's inner chaos even when his words sound smooth. If your mind is restless, she feels it. If your energy is calm, she relaxes. The Stoic man's power is that his peace is real. It's not an act. It's earned through discipline, awareness, and detachment from outcome. But understanding women isn't about manipulating or predicting them. It's about respecting the natural rhythm of their emotions and bodies. It's realizing that every reaction, whether warmth or distance, is communication. Her nervous system, her posture, her tone, they're all telling you how safe she feels. And instead of reacting with frustration, the Stoic man adjusts his presence to make the moment lighter, safer, and more open. This kind of understanding doesn't come from reading dating books. It comes from living with awareness. When you stop needing constant validation, you become the validation. When you stop chasing connection, connection chases you. Because women can sense the difference between a man who wants her and a man who sees her. The first drains her energy, the second gives her peace. The Stoic man also knows that attraction built on calm presence lasts longer than attraction built on performance. He's not in a hurry. He understands that real connection isn't built in moments of intensity, it's built in moments of stillness, patience, and consistency. He's the kind of man who can hold her laughter and her silence. The one who doesn't flinch when she's emotional because he's already met his own emotions face to face. His self-control isn't cold, it's comforting. His strength isn't loud, it's steady. And that's why women trust him. Not because he's perfect, but because he's predictable in peace. In the end, to understand women, you don't need new techniques. You need awareness. You need to slow down enough to see, to listen, to breathe. The Stoic man doesn't chase attention. He commands it through quiet confidence, grounded energy, and the rare ability to stay calm, no matter how complex things become. That's the man she remembers. That's the man she respects. And that's the man she desires, not for what he says, but for the way she feels when he's near. So remember this: when you master yourself, you understand her. And when you understand her, you don't need to chase, you attract naturally. That's it for today, gentlemen. We've explored how the female body communicates what words often hide, how her movements, her tone, her breath, and her stillness all reflect trust, safety, and desire. And how a Stoic man, grounded in calm awareness, can read those signals without judgment and create connection through peace, not pressure. If you found value in this and want to go deeper into the psychology, the energy, and the discipline of being a Stoic man who truly understands women, consider becoming a member. Inside, you'll get access to exclusive lessons and real-life examples to help you master this mindset in every part of your life. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss what's coming next. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.